whether this will be a success or not, but here goes anyway. Welcome to my cab for the first of what I hope will be a regular live stream from me. I dabbled with this a little bit when I first started posting regular stuff on YouTube, and I didn't really have a format, and I've been looking around at other channels over time, and it appeared to me that live streams are quite popular. So I thought I'd give it a go myself. And the format I decided to take was an ask me anything kind of issue. And, you can ask me anything and I'll answer questions. I mean, right now I've got people coming up in the chat saying hello. Factual Breakdown, hello. Michael, hello. There's lots of you popping up there. The live chat actually appears quite fast, so if I do miss anybody, my apologies for that. I'll try and do as many shout outs as I can. Before I go any further with this, can you, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel if possible. That would be great. It all helps, and we're growing quite rapidly now. Subscribe, yes, hit the notification bell if you can. And also give this live stream a like. I see a load of you have already. Yes, Michael, hit the like. All good. What do you think about the idiots that are blocking up the road? Should they not be arrested? Asks Aaron. Well, I've been lucky with those idiots blocking up the road. I seem to have missed them. Hi, Dave. I see you pop in there. And Harry's got a question as well. Yeah, so I seem to have missed them, but what they're actually doing with their actions, they're alienating everybody. You superglue yourself to the road and disrupt people getting to work, their homes, getting to the hospital to see sick relatives and everything else. We don't like you very much. Get out of the way. And yes, to answer the question, they should be arrested. There's an injunction out against them, supposedly preventing them from blocking these roads up, and they're ignoring it and carrying on willy-nilly. They should be arrested. As simple as that, in my opinion, but we know what happens. Marie Green, hi, Gabby the Cabby. Hello, Marie. Nice to see you here. Harry asked a question. Why are black cabs called black cabs? Well, there's two types of cabs. We all get called the same thing, cab drivers, taxi drivers, but there's two kinds of licenses. There's one called private hire, which is what I am, and that means that I can only take my work if it's booked through an operator, and to become an operator you have to have an operator's license. Hello there, Cove Lord, aka John Kent, you've just got there. Yes, an operator's license, and you can only take book work. The other kind of license you have is something called a hackney license, and those are the ones where you can pick up off the street, where they go, hey, taxi, and you can go and get them there. And the hackney drivers drive cabs. They're the true cab drivers, and the reason they're called black cabs is because they are black cabs. You usually see them around train stations and taxi ranks and that sort of thing. Right, we'll start working through this list of questions I've got that you've kindly signed in and given to me, and I'll see how we go, and I'll pick up any questions from the live feed. And as I said earlier, if you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate it if you can subscribe. If you're watching this and you haven't, the more the merrier. Who's this? Douglas, if I can read that. Favourite movie or genre, Andy? I'm a science fiction fan, I'm afraid to say. Anything Star Trek, Star Wars, anything like that, I love it. I've seen all those movies so many times. And I love them all. It's the stories behind them and hope of a better future sometimes, which I hope we all get sooner or later, but who knows with all this Build Back Better nonsense that everybody's spouting. Right, top of the list. We have a question from somebody called P.O. Box, BOXX, and they said to me the other day that they're not going to be able to make this live stream, but I'll answer the question anyway. Have you had anyone famous in your cab? Well, the only person that I've had in my cab that I actually recognised as being on the telly, although you couldn't call him famous really, is Ben Mills. Ben Mills is a singer, and he appeared on the X Factor many, many, many years ago. That Simon Cowell vehicle. Well, he got in my cab. I pulled up, and he lived around the corner from me at the time. I looked at him. I thought, there's Ben Mills. He's a lovely chap, actually. I've seen him a couple of times around. Reasonably good singer. And he walked away from all the X Factor stuff and everything. He said to me he didn't want it. It's just a complete lunatic life. And he just wasn't interested. So he goes around touring clubs and bars and all that sort of thing. I see some of you making friends on here. There's my good friend Dave, who's come on the live stream. I've known him for, well, half my life, basically. And Cove Lord, John Kent, we're all local to each other. John, we'll have to try and meet at a mutually convenient pub at some point and have a drink or something, maybe. Yes, let's get the likes up, please, guys, for Andy. Thank you, Dave. That's great. It's 27 so far on climbing. I like that. So, yeah, Ben Mills was in my cab. I've seen famous people at the airport. I remember dropping someone off at the Gatwick South terminal one time, and I unloaded the passenger, turned round, and came face to face with Cliff Richard. I had to look twice, because obviously I've only ever seen him on the telly. And you think, is that them? And it was Cliff Richard. And the other person I've seen is Ricky Gervais. I knew it was him because there was a picture of him on a private jet a little bit later on. Who would your ideal passenger be? This is what P.O. Box has asked as well. Well, I tend to have a lot of time for veterans. Anyone that's served in the Army, Navy, Air Force, particularly in conflicts, and particularly the older veterans, because they always have a story to tell, and there's something about the way they tell their stories. It's just really, really interesting to me. And I even had a guy that worked on the Apollo program, the Apollo Moon Space program back in the 60s. He worked on the guidance computers, and we had a lovely conversation. Marie Green, what was he like? Cliff Richard. He was exactly the same as he appears to be on the telly. We didn't actually talk or have a conversation of any kind. He walked off and obviously went and got on the plane. I have another question here. I mentioned a thing the other day, Costa Crappy. And somebody said to me, what's Costa Crappy? Well, simple translation, Costa Coffee. Sometimes you walk in there and Costa Coffee tastes like crap. So we nicknamed it Costa Crappy instead. And the other thing we call it is Costa Fortune as well, because generally it usually does. We've got a couple of ones here from Lake Lizard. Would I consider living anywhere else? Well, it did cross my mind from time to time. You see, I live in Margate in the southeast, and a lot of people will say it's a deprived area. I mean, it's not so much now because you've got a lot of people coming down from London and bringing money with them, and property prices are going up, and there's more opportunities. But once upon a time, I looked around and I thought, what can my kids do here to, further themselves? Is there any opportunity around here? And I thought, well, no, there isn't. So maybe I should move. I mean, I've got family in Hertfordshire, and my wife has as well, up Dunstable Way, Luton Way, and all that sort of thing. So it's something that did consider it, but we thought, home is where the heart is, and the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Yes, Alan, you're dead right. Planet Fanet. That's absolutely spot on. Next question from Lake Lizard. Am I a veteran, or did anyone else in my family serve? I'm not a veteran. Closest I got to a uniform service was the Air Training Corps when I was a kid. So that's why I've got a particular affinity for, Manston and all things military and everything else. Dave, don't you worry, your secret's safe with me. Snip, snip is all I'll say. My father served in the army for 10 years. He was a military policeman, did a tour of Northern Ireland. My grandfather on my mother's side was in the army. He was in the army catering corps. And he was a bit of a pain in the arse. My mum could tell you some stories about him. And my grandfather on my dad's side was also in the army. He served during World War II, and he was a he was a major when he retired. He was in the Royal Artillery, so quite a long military service history in my family. And I broke the mould. I was going to join the Air Force, but I went into the RAF recruitment office when I was 16 with my dad, and they told me I couldn't fly. So that was the end of that. I didn't want to do anything else. So I ended up working in IT for a lot of years, and the company I worked for went bust, and I ended up driving a cab instead. So that's why I'm here talking to you guys. Just having a look at the chat. My friend Dave is a little bit worried that I'm about to blow one of our joint secrets about something we did when we were very drunk years ago. I don't think that'd go down too well, so don't you worry about that. Yes, what else have we got in the live chat here? Some people saying hello and talking. That's nice. That's what all this YouTube stuff's all about, really. Getting to know each other, having a good time, and talking. It's all brilliant. And I'll say again, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel if you can. That'd be great. It's all free to do, and it helps us grow. It tickles the algorithm's ego. Factual Breakdown says she wanted to be a lawyer. Why didn't you? You with our communication, you seem like you would have been good at it. Who's this? Lisa. Hello, Andy. Just managed to catch you this time. Hi, Lisa. Hope you're doing all right. Next question. Ella Gracie. How many miles a week do I drive? Well, there's a couple of answers to that. It depends what kind of taxi work you do, be it local or long distance. I mean, last month I did 7,000 miles, and the month before that I did 7,000 miles. But that's an awful lot of work and an awful lot of time. Love you too, Marie and Factual Breakdown. Feelings mutual. Thank you very much, and I really love and appreciate all the support. But we've just had a buffering incident where I've just reconnected, so I hope that I'm still with you all. Give me a like or a comment if you are, so I'll make sure I'm not talking to myself. Right, Sarah H. If I could travel back in time to a historical event, what would it be? Well, not a lot of historical events go on these days. Everything kind of got done 40 or 50 years ago, I suppose I'd like to go back to the 60s, really, because everyone tells me it was a good decade with, lots of historical things happening. I mean, the moon landings right up my street. I'd love to go back and sit in front of a black and white TV and watch Neil Armstrong land on the moon. And yes, I know there's lots of people out there that say it never happened. That's people's opinions. I've got mine, but that's one thing. There's one place I would like to go back to, and I have this childish dream that I'll share with you. My stepfather passed away a few years ago now. He died of cancer, and he was one of these where, he maybe should have done something about it a little quicker than he did, but he got it at the age of 57, and he fought it for 10 years, and it did get the better of him. And I always had this dream of having a time machine and going back far enough with proof of what happened to him. And at a time where I know I'd catch him out mowing the lawn or doing the garden or, making something with wood. He was a carpenter or anything like that. And warning him of what was to befall him and try and stop him from actually meeting that fate. That's a dream I hold. It'll never happen. I know that, but you can't help but wish and, hope things could come true sometimes. If a film were to be made about me, who would play me? My wife said I look like an actor. I can't remember the name, but yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I've been called a few things over the years and resemble a few people. I mean, you let me know what you think in the comments. Uh, Andy just got YouTube notice now. Sorry I'm late. That's Savage Media. Hi there. Thank you for joining. Doesn't matter if you're late. Bruce Willis. Oh, I've got more hair than Bruce Willis. That's the trouble. It might be going a bit grey, but never mind. Yes, to all of those of you that have just joined me, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit the like button. It's all good. You can find me on social media as well. I mean, the main thing I do on there is just put copies of all these videos. But if you look in the description on this live stream or anything else, you'll see all the ways you can support the channel and all the ways you can, find me. Hi Andy, have you seen that you can take a Kung Flu pill now instead of a jab? I'm sure it's available on prescription. Do you think it's another money-making scam? What do you think? That's all I'll say to that. Question from Angela Dallymore. We've got, do I get many tips and what's the biggest? Well, since we've had the old Kung Flu, more and more people want to pay by bank card and bank transfer because we've been told that money's dirty. We shouldn't touch money because we'll get the old Vinda flu or the Kung Flu or anything else flu-wise off of it. So more and more people want to pay by card. And usually when a card payment's involved, Savage Media, £5 super chat. Coffee on me, mate. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Lovely. Thank you. Yes, don't forget the super chat is available on the feed, folks. That's wonderful. I'll put that towards coffee later. Yes, I get a fair few tips. Usually when something's like £85, it's right round it up to the nearest fiver. That sort of thing. It happens. Doesn't happen as much as it used to. I think the biggest tip I had was actually a Southampton job I did the other day. I got a 40 quid tip. I couldn't believe it. The woman was very generous, very pleased that I took them all to the port down there and got them home again. Yeah, I believe that as well, Douglas, that they want to remove money from use and get us all on cards so they can track everything and tax everything. That's quite obvious that that's what's happening. So we need to, spend. Are you a real Cockney born around the Bow Bells? No, I'm not actually. I have this question about my origins quite a lot. I'm not a Cockney. And I find when I hang around people from London, I start sounding like one. I do use the odd bit of Cockney slang here and there. Wow, $20 from Factual Breakdown. Thank you so much for that, Factual Breakdown. I would really appreciate it. She's one of my biggest fans. We communicate quite regularly, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not a Cockney. I was born and bred in Margate. I've been here all my life. I did actually try and escape one time, but didn't do a very good job of it. My mum's from Birmingham and my dad's from Bedford, but he did move down to this area at a fairly young age and grew up here, so I might have a mix of the two accents and picking up people from here, there and everywhere. You never know what happens. Right, back to the questions. Marge Reed, are we doing any prepping, i.e. extra food, water, etc.? I think I know why you're asking that. Now, back at the beginning of, this crazy couple of years we've had, we were all quite scared about what was going to go on. And I think we've all, wised up to it a bit. We let the media panic us all and scare us as to what was going on. And one big worry I had was two things, my wife and my kids. So I went down to the shop. Okay, somebody just tried to call me. I hope I've still got everybody. I've just cut them off. They can go away for now. Yeah, I bought a load of tins, stuff, soup, spaghetti, stuff that will last a long time in tins. Uh, and I said to my wife, that's mine. Uh, I will eat that. You and the kids have everything else. So that's the only time really I ever considered stocking up. And when you read stuff about panic buying and everything else on the news now, uh, it's it's designed to panic us, I think. Bit, with the petrol shortages and Christmas and all the rest of it, we've got to stop listening to it. It's a load of bullshit. It really is. And we've just got to live our lives. That's the answer to that. I've got a question here from Derek Owen. People losing their jobs over no stuff in the arm. I won't say the word. What will the judge decide? Will their decision be influenced by their own experience? Well, that's a good question. My opinion of this is everything in a court is judged by precedent. Once a judge decides something is true, a precedent is set, and therefore that is law, that is fact. Now, we see a lot of people getting told none of this and you lose your job. That's totally wrong. It shouldn't happen. And I can't see any judge in the land, doing that at all, ruling in the favour of the people saying it. I think anybody loses their job over this should be in for compensation, and quite a meaty compensation claim. It's unfair, it's immoral, it's wrong. I personally will not be told what I can and can't have in my own body, and I challenge anybody to try and make me decide that. I don't get blackmailed. It's my decision, and it should be your decision. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti anything. What I am very much is pro-choice. You have to be able to have the choice of what you do and don't do with your own being. It's as simple as that. I don't know what you think of that. Let me know in the comments. We've got one more question here, but before I do, just again, welcome to anybody that's joined the live stream. Thank you very much for coming along. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, give this live stream a like, and hit the notification bell. It's all free to do. We do have a subscription thing. I think it's 99p a month if you want a little badge next to your name and you stand out a little bit more. That's all good. Jackie Guinea Pigs. I like that screen name. A nice name and a nice little pet all in the same thing. Do I have any mascots in my cab? Well, I have a St. Christopher. For those of you that don't know, it's a little kind of silver disc which you can hang on a chain, a religious symbol. Now, the reason I've got that, at the beginning of 2020, I had quite a nasty car accident. And it was quite bad. My car got written off, and I got quite bashed up, more up here than physically, but it wasn't pleasant. And I've got a customer called Claire. She's an Irish lady, and she works over in Italy for an organisation, and also she goes back to Ireland quite regularly to see her family. And she gave me this St. Christopher once and let me keep it, and she said it represents safe travels, and I thought that was a lovely gesture of her. Really, really kind. Oh god, my throat's going. I've been talking for ages. So I've got that, and the only other mascot I've got is a Kermit the Frog, which some of you might have seen. I've had him since I was about 2 years old, and apparently when I first saw him, I screamed my head off. I've got a sooty and I've got a Rupert Bear thing. That's all good. Savage Media, another £5. Thank you very much for that. More coffee for later. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Really generous. Marie Green is telling me she's got a smelly hanging in her car. Well, I've got, Sharon Shooter. Love Kermit. Absolutely. Yeah, I adore him. Everyone's saying thank you to Savage Media. Yes, thank you. Very, very generous. Really, really appreciate that. I've had Kermit the Frog for years. I absolutely love it, and I grew up on a diet of the Muppets and everything else, so it's really good. And you could use the word Muppet to describe a few things that go on these days, but never you mind. That's the end of the list of questions I had. I'll spend a minute or two just keeping an eye on the live chat, see if anyone else has got anything they want to ask, or just a hello. Or my dad has the original Kermit the Frog. Yeah, I reckon some of them would be quite valuable by now, Marie. I mean, I wouldn't sell mine. It's worth more to me sentimentally than anything else. I have a medal with angel wings hanging from my mirror to honour my dad. That's factual breakdown. Yeah. Yeah, all good. What have we got? How are the schools there, Andy? Do they try to indoctrinate the kids? Well, yeah, I think they do. I read a news article earlier when they're going to start teaching them to be green and start shoving the environmentally friendly stuff down their necks. So, you know, I've always said the world needs fixing, and you do that by training our kids to be different. And unfortunately, I think the establishment is training our kids to be more of the same. And I do wonder whether that's going to, you know, affect anything going forward. What I would like to say, all of the questions I got, I read off this sheet of paper here. If you do have any other questions you want to ask me and send them in during the week, I'll process them all and put them all together again, and we'll do another one of these next week. They're, you know, really good. Yeah, contact@andygifford.online, I think's the email address. Again, you can find that in the description underneath. Or if you want to ask anything else, just leave a comment, and I can grab it off of there as well. And I'll also do a video reminder of it in the week. I think we're coming up to about 28 minutes now. Yeah, the dinghies need to go back where they came from, factual breakdown. Do you know, I read an article earlier that something like 800 came in one day over here. Absolutely madness, absolute madness. And I don't think it's ever going to stop, but we'll have to see. Those of you that have joined us that have missed the beginning of this, obviously you can catch up with it all in the feed when it's processed. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Drop us one of those, drop us a like, and hit the notification bell. There'll be some videos coming out a little bit later today, and I'm off to Gatwick later on today as well, and I'll pop up there and give you an update on how the day's gone and what I've been up to overall, and that's all cool. Factual breakdown again. This is the best channel. I'll tell you what, you're one of my best fans. You've got me shouting out everywhere. Absolutely brilliant. And I really appreciate you and everything you do. Say hello to that daughter of yours for me. I hope you come back to Police Off the Cuff. Yes, I was there last night watching when they were discussing things about Alec Baldwin and the tragedy that befell that young lady on the set, where she sadly lost her life when she was shot. And there are certain things that are coming out of the woodwork on that which really disturbed me. I mean, one of the things they said was a live round found its way into the gun. And it's crazy. I'll do a video on that, on my thoughts on it as well later. Well, we're coming up for 30 minutes. I can't believe I've managed to talk for that long. Crazy. If you've got any questions you want to ask me for the next one next week, drop me a contact in the email below. Leave a comment under here and I can pick it up from there also, and we'll put something together for next week if it's gone down well, and we'll do it again. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed tuning in and listening and getting to know a little bit more about me and having a good chat. We're getting people saying goodbye now. Marie's going, so bye Marie, thank you for dropping by, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Savage Media disappeared and went and did something else. Yeah, you're all going. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe. You can do that simply by the button underneath. Thanks Dave, I appreciate it. I think it's gone well, so I'll quite happily do it again. Cove Lord, aka John Kent, apologies, had to take a phone call. That's no excuse, don't answer. I do that sometimes. Rafi, the King, great work, boss, love it. Now, Rafi, he is absolute gold. He's a guy that works on this channel in the background. I record the media and all the video footage and everything, and he helps me make all the videos what you call SEO friendly, search engine optimized, so they can be found a bit better and get to reach out to more and more people. He is very, very good at what he does, and I think he's got a profile on LinkedIn and various other things, so a shout out to him. So yeah, I'm going to call it a day now. We're just over 30 minutes. So again, thank you very much for joining me. I hope this has been a success, and I hope you've got something out of it, the same as I have. I've enjoyed it, and we will go for another one next week. I'll look at my calendar and announce when I'm going to do it, and put one up scheduled in the week sometime. And don't forget, get your questions in. It can be anything about me, what I think about world events, opinions, anything like that. Just let me know, get them in, and I'll see you again next time. So there'll be more content out later today, but for now from me, it's toodaloo.